October 7th has sparked a wave of return to religion in Western societies. For the past 200 years, the West has been engrossed in what I call the great suspension of belief, the large-scale game of pretend that religion is no longer of any real significance, that it is a relic of the past supplanted by a rational modern worldview, that society and individuals can function perfectly well without it, and most importantly, that it is not coming back. You know the Mark Twain saying, "Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated"? Well, it turns out that applies to God as well. About a century and a half after German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche declared that God is dead, it is becoming very, very clear that God is very much alive. He's only been playing hide and seek, and he is now coming out of his hiding big time. I want to draw your attention to two phenomena that have been occurring in recent weeks, both clearly catalyzed, or at least hastened by, the October 7th massacre. The first is the return of many Western atheists to Christianity. This has been brewing for a while. A prominent figure here is, of course, Canadian psychologist Jordan Peterson. After years of listening to the new atheists mock religion, Peterson, citing Carl Gustav Jung among others, has beautifully shown that these atheists are totally missing the mark. The crucial questions, the interesting questions, aren't of the sort, how could there be a talking snake in the Garden of Eden? But rather, what do the snake's words mean for us? Peterson has been able to astound millions by demonstrating not only that one can be both a thinker and a believer, but that faith and religion can actually deepen and enrich one's thoughts. Peterson is far from alone. In his book, Dominion, How the Christian Revolution Remade the World, British historian Tom Holland, no relation to the Spider-Man actor, demonstrates that all of the most important political, social, intellectual, and cultural institutions of the modern West have sprouted directly out of Christianity. Modernity, Holland argues, is not just a product of revolution, but also evolution, growing out of, not just rebelling against, Christianity. Holland has not converted to Christianity, but no longer does he consider himself to be the staunch anti-religious atheist he once was. This is a form of subtle but noteworthy return to religion. But the most dramatic bombshell that was recently dropped was by Ayaan Hirsi Ali. For those who don't know, Hirsi Ali was born in Somalia to a Muslim tribe and was radicalized during her teenage years by the Muslim Brotherhood. She fled to the Netherlands to escape an arranged marriage she was forced into, where she became a political activist very much outspoken against radical Islam. She became one of the leading voices of the new atheists, alongside figures such as Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris. However, in a recent article, Hirsi Ali announced her conversion to Christianity. She arrived at the conclusion that secular humanism is insufficient in addressing all aspects of life, and more importantly, is inadequate in opposing what she perceives as the three greatest threats to the West today: radical Islam, anti-liberal dictatorships like China and Russia, and the postmodern woke culture that is eroding the foundations of the West from within. To counter these threats, argued Hirsi Ali, the West needs a religion, a worldview with the same kind of weight and gravitas that, for example, Islam has. And this she found in Christianity. Now, all this is just one side of the story. It's just one of the two phenomena I want to point out here. The second part is that since October 7th and the massive pro-Palestinian demonstrations it ignited worldwide, there arose in the West a significant trend among Generation Z people and TikTokers of converting to Islam. In the weeks following the war in Gaza, many young non-Arab Westerners, in particular, very interestingly, young women, began announcing on their TikTok and Instagram accounts that as a result of the war, they started reading the Quran for the first time, exploring Islam, and rethinking their Western identity. Within weeks, these individuals began changing their appearance, such as wearing a hijab or growing beards, and then announcing their official conversion to Islam, which sometimes leads to their follower counts doubling itself. Interestingly, these individuals don't refer to themselves as converts, but as reverts. The rationale behind this terminology is based on the long-standing Islamic claim that Islam is the original and natural religion of all human beings, and thus converting to it is actually a form of returning to one's original faith. They actually extend this concept all the way to figures like Abraham, whom Islam refers to as the first Muslim. Well, the original meaning of this is that Abraham was the first to submit to the one God, right? Islam means submission. Many wrongly interpret or present this as saying that Islam preceded Judaism, which of course is totally false. Many joining this trend, I should add, are influenced by the horrific document Letter to America, written by Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, shortly after the 9/11 attack, which he, of course, perpetrated, in which he blames America and the Jews, who, according to him, of course, run America, if not the entire world, for all the world's corruptions, and presents his organization's terror attacks as a defensive war. This document has gone viral in recent weeks, and masses of young people who have been primed for this kind of stuff by years of internalizing anti-Western rhetoric in their colleges or social media are swallowing it up uncritically. Now, where is all this leading? Well, friends, it seems that we are moving gradually from a world of geopolitics to a world of theopolitics. You know, there are talks of a third world war brewing between the West on the one side and the potential axis of China, Russia, Iran, North Korea on the other. Well, I'm here to tell you that probably before that, there is likely to be a war within the West, a cultural and religious war between Christians, both old and new, on the one hand, and Muslims, both old and new, living in Western countries on the other. It will be a clash of civilizations, the likes of which we have never seen. Never have Muslims and Christians clashed within Western Christian countries.